And the best person.
Episode 18, The Mentors. We got someone from Liverpool. Neil, how do you say your surname? Is it Carrasco?
Carrasco. You know what? The simplest way to remember it or pronounce it, Claudio, is think of Tabasco and add the car in.
And then a bit of Neil on top. I love it.
So, Neil, are you hot?
Yeah. Well, you know, that's for
just saying.
that is debatable.
Hey, Neil, thanks for joining us, my friend. You're here at The Mentors on episode number 18. And tell us a little bit about yourself. So we know that you're from McGrath, Liverpool, right?
That's correct, mate.
So tell us how long you've been in real estate. Tell us a little bit about your journey and your story. And then obviously the main question you want to ask the mentors today.
Yeah, no, definitely, and thank you for the opportunity. I guess to go back to what you were just asking, Claudio, my journey started pretty much 12 months ago, exactly almost 12 months ago.
Wow! So you're new.
Yeah, I'm new to the industry. My previous journey and chapter has been in retail for the last 25, possibly 26 years.
Yep.
My wife and I were very fortunate to have worked with the Athlete Foot Company for 21 years, and we had our own franchise for many years.
I bought as a kid many shoes from the Athlete's Foot. Remember my mum dragging me by the ear, going, yes. You need new sports shoes for PE. So
no, that's exactly right.
That's great.
That's exactly right. And
great company,
great company.
Yeah, fantastic, and very. I guess. How you mentioned I'm obviously in McGrath is that there's a lot of aspects of my journey with the Athlete's Foot that I mirror very much in the same space that I'm currently in amongst the brand, and I'm sure there'll be other brands that are of very similar stature. But had a wonderful time at the Athlete's Foot, and then I guess how the $1 million question is, how did I get into real estate? And I'll keep it pretty brief, but you know, when we sold the shop in April last year, I had a friend who had reached out when he saw that we were selling, and he put the question to me and he said, "Mate, I need you to entertain a new chapter or journey in your life, and it'll be out of your comfort zone of what you've been doing. I need you to come into real estate." And the gentleman's name is Daniel, and Daniel's business is with MIPs. And he said, the reason being is I need you to be in this space for many reasons, but I want to align you eventually with who I believe would be a great agent or a mentor who can train and guide you in this journey, and hence joining McGrath, I was aligned with who's my lead agent, and I guess definitely my mentor is Eva Fricketti here at McGrath Liverpool,
and she's fantastic.
Yeah, so I started with McGrath in October. I worked 3 months with Daniel, and yep. he then connected me with Eva, and here we are.
Wow. And just so we've got an understanding, you're working within Eva's team, and are you a sales associate, Neil? Is that what your role is?
Yeah, so I guess my role started obviously as a CSM,
okay,
and I've been groomed to be a buyer's agent effectively. And then eventually the end goal is to obviously become a sales agent within the team.
Down the track.
That's a great start,
correct.
Neil. That's a good. It's Matt here. How are you?
How are you, Matt? I'm in. I was going to say I'm in real estate royalty, right?
There you go. There's a compliment for a Friday afternoon, Matt LaHood.
You're referring to Claudio, no doubt, eh?
Yeah.
How much did he pay you to say that one, Neil?
Yeah. I'll give you my BSB later
on. No, look. I think it's a really. It sounds like you've got a good team leader there too, by the way you're sort of talking. So it's good to be able to start that journey. Some agents don't have the advantage of doing that. They sort of have to get in from the get-go, and it can be a bit of a lost sort of world for a lot of agents in the first 12 months, 2 years. But with that 24 years background with the training, I've been around footwear all my life because my father was in shoes, but I do know the Athlete's Foot brand and their training and their culture has been exceptional. So you'd be coming into the business already with an advantage.
Yes.
And the other thing I'd say to you, mate, just listening to your dialogue, I don't think there's any need to mention 12 months in real estate because someone starting today's new in real estate. You're 12 months in. If you start, you would have learned a lot in the last 12 months, but you've actually been 24 years in sales and retail. So I don't think you need to, you don't have I'm 12 months in real estate written on my forehead when you walk out. So people don't know that. So if you're in sales and service, doesn't matter what, you've really got 25 years in the sales business. That's how I would position yourself. Real estate's just another sales business at the end of the day.
No, definitely. And it's funny you mentioned that because I've got two kind of pronged questions that I wanted to ask you both, and to a degree, one of them relates back into what you've just said. And so I guess my first question for both of you is, if you were entering into the real estate space now and knowing the knowledge and experience that you both have had for obviously the many years that you've had it, what would be the top 5 actions or things to implement to, I guess, kickstart or propel your career?
Go, Matty. You want to
Sure. Well,
that?
The first thing, if you've followed any of my stuff over the years, Neil, since you've been in the real estate, I'm big on networking, right? So the first thing is obviously everybody that knows, likes you and trusts you through the Athlete's Foot 24 years family there would be the first people I'd be talking to.
Yes.
So I'd build a network. So in your area, you've got a group of like-minded people. What suburb is it you're trading in?
Yeah, so I've essentially most of my tenure has been in the Liverpool region.
Liverpool. Western Sydney.
Great market. Yeah, so that's one of the growth markets in Sydney. So you're in a really good market to do this. So, bank managers, lawyers, accountants, solicitors, like actual lawyers or solicitor barristers, doesn't really matter. They're all property valuers, gardeners, strata managers, anyone in that space that has anything to do with real estate. You should be building a group of people. Well, this is what I would be doing now knowing what I do know, and I actually did do this, not the first year in real estate though, but definitely building a network. Second thing would be any person you meet that has a piece of real estate, whether it's investment, whatever it is, a half share in a home, anything, I'll be putting them into a database.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is. Third thing I'd be doing now today would be I'd be sending value add information out every single month to the marketplace. Yes. So what that means, everything that positions Neil as the expert in Liverpool.
The authority.
That's a better word, Clouds. Yep. Thank you. So that could be just a summation of the week's clearance rate. It could be what's happening in the Liverpool market. It
new
could
developments
be
happening.
New developments, any changes at council.
Yep.
No?
Yep.
The fourth thing I'd be doing is every month I'd be going up to, is it Liverpool Council?
Yes.
I'd be going up to Liverpool Council. I'd be going into the DA section of Liverpool Council. I'd be getting a copy of all the new DAs that have been approved in council, and I'd be ringing those owners to see if they need an agent.
What a great idea.
Yeah, no,
right?
that definitely makes perfect sense.
The fifth thing I'd be doing is I'd be walking the shops of Liverpool in your market and introducing yourself to everybody.
Giving them a business card?
Yeah, giving them a business card. And they're the people, the influencers, because have a guess what? I'll guarantee you 50 to 60% of those owners of those shops live in the area.
Yeah. And Neil, this is coming from a guy that whatever you just said there, the 5 top things, is exactly what he preached, is what he acted on and implemented, because I know, Matt, people used to refer to Matt as the mayor of Randwick, because he would walk the streets and if you walked into every second coffee shop, you know, every 2 hours, he would be in there talking to someone and having a coffee with them. But it's so true. That network was a very big part of your business.
Thanks, Clouds. There's 173 agents in Randwick and Coogee when I operated there, and most of the owners up and down the Randwick Strip, I did most of their business for them.
Yeah,
and that's not a suburb like Liverpool where you've got a huge growth. It was an established suburb 25 years ago. You know, that's when I first started 30 years ago. But it was you're in a huge growth, young family market where you can get right into the schools. You can do a lot more things than I could do.
Yeah, and you got kids, Neil?
Yeah. So I mean, it's funny. The second part of the question is really what you're just starting to touch on. Do you mind if I ask you that?
Yeah,
go
along
for
those
it.
lines?
Well, just before you
so
ask that question, I'll give you
Claudio's probably got some good
just
ideas.
another couple of ones that I would do as well, Neil.
Yeah, definitely.
Just two things. I think super important to build your social currency today. Meaning adding people to your database every day and making that a number that you want to like guarantee your success with, which is maybe putting 2 new people every day that you meet. Like if it's someone at the coffee shop, the owner there that you met, or a buyer that you've met, but just trying to build your social currency. Secondly, exactly what Maddie's going on as well, but just really thinking about community and how you can align yourself with the principles, the morals, the values that you uphold, and aligning yourself with that type of those principles and values around the community. And probably the final one, which I'm going to swing over to Clinton, is social media, because I mean, we just had we did a check-in episode on episode 17 just before with Patrick Cosgrove. He's going massive on video at the moment. He had a video, he had 30,000 views, and he's done 18 deals, I think, literally this year already.
Yeah, close to.
So, any advice for Neil? Because I think social media, I mean, we're probably giving you like 6 or 7 now instead of 5. But
social media.
No, more the merrier.
Probably a strategy. And just before Clinton jumps in, the last one is you should also, Neil, get yourself an accountability coach.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, okay.
I'm not necessarily saying Claudio type coaches, but I'm saying a coach where if it's not, I'm not necessarily a physical person. It could be I'm suggesting someone even in your office
but
that can keep you accountable.
And I was having a conversation with someone that before one of my coaching clients. There's 3 types of accountability. The self-accountability, which is really the weakest type of accountability, which is, it's a new year. I'm going to go and lose 15 kilos. I'm going to join the gym. I'll start that diet tomorrow. Self-accountability is the worst.
Yep.
Second accountability is coaching accountability, which works quite effectively, like having a coach. Because, when you put your own money into something, it's like you want to get something back.
The return on the investment.
The return on the investment, exactly, Neil. And then the third type of accountability, which is probably a really strong one, which is Matt's suggesting, like a buddy accountability.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm going to meet someone at the gym tomorrow at 5:30. You want to let someone down. You want to get the prospecting calls done between 10 and 12. You're going to ring up and go, hey, mate, we're doing it together. You're on? Yep. And we'll check in each other at the end of 12 o'clock. So you don't want to let someone else down. So that's probably one of the strongest accountabilities as well.
Yeah, I'm very strong on having an accountability person in your own office who every day is going through the same thing you're going through. But you're actually saying, I want to make 50 phone calls today, and that person says, I want to make 70.
Yep.
And you're both keeping each other accountable before in the office. Costs nothing, and it's a great thing to do.
It's just like 2 guys putting their hands together and going, come on, let's do this together on this journey, and let's check in. And it's so much more powerful when you both do it together.
Yep.
Definitely.
Okay.
And you're spot on. I think that partnership empowerment is such a
and social media strategy.
Huge. I had one of my accountability partners or buddies many, many years ago by the name of Casey Michael. And we used to do 50 calls a day, check in at the end of the day, and fax our results at the end of each day. But you know what? We pushed each other. We supported each other. He had my back. I had his back. There were days when I didn't want to get up and do the calls. And he said, come on, man, let's do it together. We've got to do this on, no excuses. And we did.
Yep.
Over to you, my friend Clinton, with the social media strategy.
Yes. I mean, I started, for anybody that hasn't heard me talk about this stuff before, I started in the social media game 2 years ago. And so much has changed in 2 years' time. It's incredible. I think just recently they started talking about Instagram TV, which is now, rather than have just 60 seconds or 7 seconds to put a piece of content out, you can now just have it for a much, much longer point in time. And whenever they drop a new feature as well on social media, they tend to push it over the other things. So when Stories came out for the first time, there was a lot of attention on that. Now that Instagram TV is here, if you follow someone, you get a notification straight away to say, hey, here's another post on them, or they've gone live on them, or whatever it may be. So social media, the aim of the game is getting attention first. And then what you do with that attention is the second part of it. The only way you can get attention is you've got to be in the relevant platforms where people are paying attention. So I think, and when I started 2 years ago, Instagram was on the up. Facebook was the thing. Snapchat was on the up. LinkedIn had sort of died off a little bit. But if you talk right here, right now, Instagram is now the number 1 social app from what I'm aware of when you go into the App Store or Google Play.
Yeah, that's right. And what I've learned a bit with that, Clinton, is there's so many different platforms that Instagram connects with, and I can see a lot of the emotional connection with a lot of the clients or colleagues out in the market that that just resonates really well, you know, in the whether it's in the local community or abroad. And yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, so like you just got to like it's really important that you start to pay attention to what people are doing. You know, like if like I've done this over the last 2 years, and I always ask people like, what do you use? Are you on LinkedIn more? Are you using Instagram? And like just sort of get a pulse check. But at the same time, if you go into the App Store and you start looking at what is like in the top 10 apps for social, I actually really, really believe in this ethos that you should be getting your hands dirty with at least the top 3 or 4 that are there. So you're having some familiarity with how to produce content and put it out to social media. Now, the thing is, right, the game hasn't changed when you think about branding. It's storytelling. What has changed is just the mediums that they go. It used to be that if you wanted to advertise or get your story out there, you use PR. You'd get an article written in a newspaper, or you'd get like a TV channel, like a news station, to be able to get your story
Media
out.
release.
Media release, exactly right. Nowadays, you don't have to go through somebody else. You are direct to consumer. And the powerful thing with that is you get to decide and control what your story is.
Yeah, totally.
And now it's just a case of locking, like it's hard, right? Because there's so many people trying to grab for attention. How do you get it?
Yeah.
The best way to get attention is to be yourself and to focus on what you're passionate about. I really strongly believe in that. And I think one of the reasons why I'm so connected with this is because I like how things look and sound. And I'm really into the fact that if you've got somebody's attention, you can have an impact with it.
Clinton, could I just deviate? Did I hear you say you've only been doing this for 2 years?
Okay, so I'll give you a little bit of background, right? Because, I've been doing sales and customer service based roles pretty much since I was 16. So I've always been in that customer facing kind of thing. I then went into what is now prehistoric. I used to work at Yellow Pages, right? And I did that for 10 years. And so I understand a bit of the advertising marketing game. But around the time, like I'd literally just started, Google had come into play. And literally within the space of a couple of years, I watched that company go from being a juggernaut to getting left totally behind and
Yellow
just absolutely whittling down to size, right? And technology came along.
Good lesson, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like I've always been paying attention to that sort of thing. I've always had a bit of creativity going on. Like I've been into music and whatnot. So for me, a natural progression of getting into creating videos is normal because I've always been into how things look and sound. I've had all those years of experience with advertising and speaking to small businesses and having selling kind of roles or customer service roles. So social media is not a scary thing. You just need to.
No, that's right.
You need to look back on history and think about.
Neil, the reason I asked Clinton that was I was just paralleling the skill level this guy's got, and you're saying you're 12 months in real estate, so it just doesn't really matter. You know what I mean?
No, you're right.
That's where I was trying to tie the two.
Yeah, because in 2 years.
The other thing is, if Clinton didn't mention that, I would have thought he's been doing this for 15 years.
Right? I thought the same.
Yeah,
like just obviously the confidence and the I guess the ability to communicate. Doesn't show his tenure.
And he was obviously not happy, Jan. That's why he left the Yellow Pages. But anyway, I had to throw that in. So it's Friday afternoon. Right? So on the back of that, it's funny how that marketing campaign was clever, isn't it? Everyone knows what I just said.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely.
I keep telling Jan Morrison it works for me that. But what I was going to say with you was, Neil, from your point of view, that when you said I've only been in real estate for 12 months, see, mate, there's other people that are saying that I've been in this for 12 months. That's a long time for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I wanted you to make sure you don't use that as an excuse. I've only been in for 2 years or 12 months, whatever. Because, mate, there's some people been in it for 12 months that we could pull together for you that are really shooting the lights out now. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
No, and that I guess what you guys have just spoken about, it really actually summarises or answers a lot of my second question, which was I mean, I'll read it out, but basically there are already points that you guys have both answered, and Clinton as well. And I wrote down that, Matt, from the little that I know of you and how you've built your career, I obviously have understood that a lot of your business was generated from your network and community engagements, which obviously
still is today too. Like even though I'm not selling, I've got probably 6 to 8 listings on the market at the moment. If you jump on and have a look at the website, where they've just been generated purely off past clients, lawyers, accountants, everything.
No, no, you can definitely see that. And I guess, obviously from my history being in that retail and direct customer space, one of the things that my wife and even our team were very passionate about was being involved in our community, which was always something that we wanted to do, not have to do.
Yeah,
we just felt, our business was built on a very strong loyalty program that came from a caring aspect and relationship aspect as opposed to a transactional aspect.
Yeah.
And I guess going back to what Claudia was asking before, my question, really deep down is I'm a middle-aged man. Is that what you call 40-year-olds? I don't know. What do you call 40-year-olds?
Yeah.
Well, 40. Let's say 40. Okay, so I'm 42, married with 3 kids.
Yep.
And I know you touched on before, I'm not that 20-year-old with no commitments or luxury of time. Obviously from what you've just told me, there's definitely a great opportunity for not only myself, but I'm sure there's other people across the network that have come from very similar backgrounds or industries where, they've been told, you need to come into this space.
Yep.
There's obviously opportunity for us. And I guess, from a time perspective, I'm thinking, hang on, what's the retirement age now? 65 has it gone to 70?
Put it this way, by the time we're going to retire, it's going to be like 85 because we're all living a lot longer. So,
No.
but
so
yeah, go on.
Sorry, mate.
Yeah, you're right, Neil. Go.
No, I guess the question is, where you see the opportunities going forward. Obviously, that connection with the local community is something that obviously you value a lot, Matt, and I'm glad in a way that there is, the frameworks that if you put into place can generate business within the right reasons. I guess if you were to ask me how do I sell on relationships, not a product driven platform.
That's the way of the world in sales today. It's a referral repeat business we're in.
It's about relationships.
It's just about relationships. People buy people, mate. That's the
reality.
reality.
There's a really good book out there, Neil, called 1,000 True Fans. Okay.
Yes.
And it's an amazing book. If you get a chance to read it, I'm not sure if you've read it or not, but it's not about quantity, it's about quality.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Quality,
and it's about having quality relationships. You'd rather work with 1,000 true fans of your people that you serve versus than trying to have a database of 15 or 20,000. Okay?
Yeah.
Because I've worked with those agents and they've got no relationships. They're just treated people who are in that database like
it's
a number.
Just a number.
Correct.
Yeah.
So if you get a hand on that book, 1,000 True Fans, I don't even know who it is.
1,000 True Fans.
Yeah, Neil, just
down now, mate.
Tim Ferriss,
Google it
just
now.
summarising that, it's quite interesting. If you talk to most people that have sold their house, who they sold through, they'll end up saying to you that we sold through Claudio Encina or Neil or Matt LaHood or Clinton or whatever it may be. They'll remember the person. It's a bit like your doctor, your dentist. You basically you follow the person. So that's really the reality. It's such a personal business.
Totally.
I mean, you think about it. There's no other business in the world where somebody gives you the keys to their front door and says, go for it. Like the local sergeant down at Liverpool Police Station doesn't have the keys to people's front doors, right? You think about it.
Yeah.
And that's, it's the trust that they give you.
Yeah.
You're getting the keys to someone's house. Like it doesn't get any bigger than that.
No, that's right.
One of the things
it's funny. Like I there's one quote, and I think it's Maya Angelou, who was obviously one of Oprah's mentors, that I strongly believe in, and I'm sure you guys have got a quote there that you probably resonate well with. But one of the quotes that I always sort of had taken with my previous business, and hopefully bring it into the real estate, or going to bring the real estate, is people may forget your name, but they'll always remember how you made them feel.
Yeah,
that's a great quote.
That is, that's exactly right. That's so true. I've seen that quote before, and it's a very good one. Yeah, because people don't remember what you do or say, but they remember how you make them feel, which is so true, Neil. And that book, 1,000 True Fans, is by Kevin Kelly. So if you want Kevin Kelly, really good book, and he talks about, like, it's not about quantity, it's certainly about quality and having those quality relationships, and that's what I think you should aim for, especially as you're starting out. So,
Yeah, no, definitely.
All right. As we wrap up this episode number 18 with Neil from McGrath at Liverpool. Neil, have we answered your question today on the mentors?
You definitely have. And I think, you know, one thing I definitely believe in, and you guys are doing it, is, and it's a credit to you guys and Clinton, is you guys are giving back. I mean, you've obviously come from different platforms and you've got other people that work in the space, but the fact that you're able to share, you know, your journey and experiences, I think you can never put a price on that. And I think that's really important for any business is, you know, sharing your knowledge. It only makes the industry better. And that's why my friend said you need to come into the space, because he's followed my journey for a long time with my wife and the staff, and just said, you know, I think this is the industry you need to be in.
That's
fantastic.
Well done, mate. Congratulations.
Mate, congratulations. We really appreciate your feedback. And we may get you on maybe sometimes in 6 months or 8 months' time to see how your journey's going anyway, Neil, just to check in, because we are checking in with some of our past people and guests that have come on the show to share their story. And we really honour and, you know, love hearing what other people are doing out there at the moment, such as yourself. And it means a lot when you give us feedback as well.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you for your time, guys. I really appreciate it.
Neil, thank you so much. Thanks for joining us here on episode 18 of The Mentors.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Got something great from this episode? It would mean the world to us if you passed it on. Tune in each week as we mentor a new agent. Have a question? Want to be on the show? Get in touch with Claudio Encina, Matt LaHood, or visit our Facebook page. The Mentors is brought to you by Sprinkler.media.